Okay, now this part has dried, so I'm going to do a mountain in the distance. Now you can just see a mountain in the distance, and it's not very blue, but I'm going to do a bigger mountain than that in the distance and make it a bit bluer, but not 100% blue. So I'm getting some cobalt blue and some burnt umber, which will grey it off a bit. And then I'm going to paint that here. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. So I personally believe in exaggerating things and changing things from the original scene, not completely, but a little, in order to improve the painting. Which is not to say I don't love particular places. I do a lot, but you can still capture the soul of a place without having to meticulously copy everything, at least in my opinion. Maybe that's rationalizing there, so whatever. So now I see some kind of so there's no way I can do all this detail, so, or I'm not going to anyway. That's not the way I paint. So it's going to be suggestive. So I've got some yellow ochre, and I start off light and then move towards darker things, darker colours, and then a touch of this phthalo blue. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe a bit stronger. And a bit stronger. Okay, that's looking a bit more like what we want. I think that will pass. And then maybe I'm going to splay the hairs and then do it like this. I'm trying to get an interesting textural effect. Because I don't think it will work to kind of draw these gaps individually. I don't think it's going to look so good. I think this one will look more natural, this way. I haven't done that really so well, but it's not too bad. Okay, so then the question is, do I let this dry, or do I continue to work within that? Maybe I will. So I'm going to get my small bamboo brush, and I'm going to use a mix of cobalt blue and alizarin crimson, and got a lovely purple mix here, and I'm just going to suggest some shadows, and let's spray it because it's drying out like nobody's business. Okay, wait. So this is tricky because you don't want it to be too much, and at the same time you don't want it to be too bland. Okay, maybe that will do. Okay, so now when I did the first attempt at this, I just started doing bushes here, but I can see there's this gap, yeah? Maybe some kind of erosion, and look, that might be a road there. Oh, I know where this is now. It's when we went to a castle in Spain. Oh, it was a nightmare. I drove along this road, and it's a real narrow road, yeah? And a car came in the opposite direction. So it was a really small road. So I moved the car over to the side of the road, and I heard this terrible screeching noise. And there was a bush by the side of the road, and I thought, oh yeah, just a bush, you know. Have to be careful of bushes in desert-like areas. They have enormous thorns on them, and it just scratched to bits the car I was renting, the brand new car that I rented. That was such a nightmare. So yeah, this painting has a bit of a story. That was so stressful. I cleaned that car like nobody's business, honestly. It was gleaming, and I really tried to get rid of those scratch marks. And when I took it back to the, here we go, moment of truth here. So I'm doing, anyway, just this suggestion of rocks here. But anyway, when I took the car back to the place you hire it from, I must admit I was a bit sneaky, and I put the scratch side in the shade so you can't see the scratch marks, right? And the guy checked it and cleared it, and then because I'm such an idiot, honestly, my IQ must be, I don't know, 20 or something. But anyway, I just had this moment of like, I'm such a bad person. So I went and told him I scratched the car. And that was actually ended up being a good thing, because he looked at it and he said superficial damage. Honestly, it was like I've been brought back to life again. It was such a relief. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. But there you go. So in the end, I was glad that I told the truth. But that was tough. That was so tough. Whew. That really was a nightmare. And those scratches at first looked worse than they were, because the car was covered in a layer of dust, and so for that reason it had removed the dust, and the scratches looked even worse. But that was a bit of a nightmare. So if you're hiring a car in Spain, then really do be careful of bushes by the side of the road, because they might have thorns on them, and they'll make some nasty marks on your car. So I can't say I really like the marks I've made there, but maybe it will work. It needed to be more dry brush, didn't it? More dry brush marks would have been better. Okay. And of course, maybe fewer marks would have been good as well. Yeah, so this place is a castle in Murcia, and quite amazing castle. And it has this huge gun on top of the mountain from World War II, and it's absolutely huge. It's unbelievable. Quite a thing to see. Okay, so I'm going to do Burnt Umber now, and as we go down this mountain, you can see that it changes here. Well, no, it's the same, but it gets bigger and maybe a little bit more vibrant, the colour. You know, as colours come closer to you, they get slightly more vibrant. And if you can exaggerate that, then you're doing well. Okay, so this is Burnt Umber and Phthalo Blue, but I think it needs a bit of yellow ochre in it. Maybe I'm making mucky colours. I don't know. I never worry about mucky colours. So yeah, I'm definitely making it a lot stronger. And I need to make this an interesting edge here. And if I can get a touch of dry brush in here. Yeah, that is nice. Very nice. Looks good. Looks good. I needed more of that right from the beginning. But there you go, live and learn. Okay. Oh, and then I need to leave some big gaps here, which will look really nice, where we've got some rocks. Don't make it too regular though. The brain just wants to do that. It wants to make it look regular, and it does look a bit too regular. Even the sizes, can you see how they're slowly getting smaller? That's so annoying. Just automatically your brain will add a certain kind of uniformity to things, an order to things, without even trying, and it just doesn't look natural. So now we do the shadows for these. Okay, come on, come on. Cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, too much red. Let's use phthalo blue because it's a really strong blue. Get back to that purple colour. Yep. Okay, and mix it with a bit of dirt, and then that'll darken it. Now, you have to time this right. If you do it too soon, this shadow just disappears into nothing, like maybe that will, and it just looks rubbish. And if you do it too late, then it just looks like stuck on. So that's one of the big problems about watercolour. Timing is everything. But with time, you start to get a feel for the right time to do something and the wrong time. Still tricky though. Yeah, I want to do some delicate shadow here. And I need to kind of make the colour though different from this bush. It has to be noticeably different, but not like, maybe that will work. You can tell that that's a rock then. Let's try and correct this one. Yeah, quite like it. Do little bits and blobs, whatever, for this edge. And can you see how sometimes these shadows, they've disappeared, right? So my timing was a bit off. But still, overall, not so bad. Not so bad. And let's spray it. How am I doing on the video? It's getting a bit long, but I just want to do these rocks on the top. And so these rocks have kind of like a highlight to them. And the way I'll create the highlight on these rocks is just by leaving a gap. You really have to simplify things. So I've got some burnt umber, some phthalo blue, more phthalo blue, touch of alizarin crimson, phthalo blue. Whoops, got the hiccups. And then here we go. So this really needs little gaps like that, and dry brush. So dry my brush on a rag. I'm getting rid of excess water. So it should be easier to create a dry brush effect. Don't see it happening. Oh, there. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that came down too far, but there we go. Work with it. Yeah, I like that. that doesn't look, that looks a bit strange. Now that's better. Okay. That looks a bit artificial just there. Make it a bit more irregular. Okay, that's not bad. And then I might even do a bit of dry brush just here for variety. And then stop there, Gareth, because can you see we've got these lovely little patches, and as long as we don't crowd them too much, looks nice. Looks nice. Now here, these shadows are really disappeared, so my timing was really off. But we can spray it, and we can try again. Just use a thick mix and dark colour. In fact, I'm just going to use burnt umber. Almost pure paint. Desperate measures for desperate times. Okay. Not brilliant, but hopefully it will pass. Hopefully it'll pass. I mean, what we could do is this. I want to say don't do this at home, but of course you're going to. Because it's a lesson. But this is very ill-advised, shall we say. A watery mix, because this could go very, very wrong. And then I'm just going to flood the top here and hopefully create a bit more of a highlight here. So maybe this is, I'm not sure if this is a technique or if it's cheating. Maybe if it works, it's a technique. And if it doesn't, let's call it cheating. Okay. So I might even go a little thick. I don't want to overdo it though and give too much detail, and I don't want it to look stuck on, but maybe it's working. Although this bit looks a bit too empty now by contrast, but still. I might just do up here just a few dark marks. Just something a little bit stronger, but not too much. Going over the same shadowy areas, so I'm not getting rid of all this lovely lightness. Maybe that will do. I always say that will do, and then I end up doing more. It's so important not to overdo. It's so difficult. Yeah, I can see it. I think that almost works. But what's this white blob here? Okay, is that a rock? Maybe it's a rock. So let's give it a little bit of shadow, whatever. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, let's leave that to dry.